Have you ever watched an NBA game and thought, how was that even humanly possible? From dunks that ended careers to jumps that defied gravity, these aren't just highlights. These are the moments that broke physics, embarrassed defenders, and became legends overnight. Today, we're counting down the greatest dunks in NBA history, the ones you'll never forget. 1. Vince Carter jumps over Frederick Weiss, 2000 Olympics. Vince Carter's legendary dunk over Frederick Weiss isn't just the greatest dunk in basketball history, it's one of the greatest athletic moments ever caught on camera. During the 2000 Olympics, Team USA was facing France in what was supposed to be a routine game, but nothing about what happened next was routine. Vince Carter, already known as half man, half amazing, intercepted a pass near half court. He took one dribble, exploded forward, and then did something no one in the arena believed was real in the moment. Standing between him and the rim was Frederick Weiss, a 7'2" center, a full foot taller than Carter. Most players would have gone around him. Carter didn't even consider it. He rose and literally jumped over him. Not around, not through, over, clean, effortless. Like gravity decided to take a timeout. The crowd froze. The announcers lost their minds. Even Carter's teammates were seen running in circles, unable to process what they had witnessed. France's bench stared in shock. Weiss himself didn't react, partly because he didn't even realize what had happened until he turned around. This wasn't just a dunk. It was a moment when the world understood Vince Carter wasn't playing the same sport as everyone else. The most disrespectful dunk ever, and probably the most impossible one, too. 2. Vince Carter 360-degree windmill, 2000 dunk contest. Vince Carter walked into the 2000 dunk contest with one mission: to end the competition before it even started. And on his very first attempt, he delivered a dunk so perfect that the crowd, the judges, and even his competitors instantly understood they were witnessing history. Carter caught the ball on the right wing, took 2 slow, confident steps toward the rim, almost like he was letting the world take a breath before the storm. Then, without warning, he elevated, but instead of a normal spin, he launched into a full 360-degree rotation, turning his back to the rim mid-air. As he completed the spin, he dipped the ball deep into a windmill motion so wide and so smooth, it looked like he was painting a circle in the air. The moment he slammed it through, the entire arena exploded. The judges didn't even raise their scorecards. At first, they were too busy standing, screaming, and looking at each other in disbelief. Even NBA players courtside were covering their faces, falling backward, collapsing to the floor. This dunk wasn't just athletic, it was artistic, effortless, revolutionary, a single moment that redefined what a human could do in the air and set the tone for the greatest contest performance ever. When Vince said, "It's over," he wasn't lying. 3. Michael Jordan free throw line, dunk, 1988 dunk contest. Michael Jordan didn't just jump from the free throw line, he turned a simple idea into an immortal basketball moment. The 1988 dunk contest was already electric, with Chicago Stadium packed and every fan waiting for MJ to deliver something iconic. Dominique Wilkins was putting up monster dunks, and the entire contest felt like a heavyweight fight. Jordan knew he needed something unforgettable, something only he could pull off. He walked to the opposite end of the court, bouncing the ball slowly, almost casually. The crowd sensed what was coming and rose to their feet, chanting his name. Then Jordan took off long strides, perfect rhythm, accelerating like a sprinter. As he reached the line, he launched himself into the air and time seemed to freeze. MJ floated, not fell, floated. His body stretched out, his tongue out, legs gliding behind him as if he was running on air. The ball extended high above his head in that unmistakable jump man pose. When he finally hammered the ball through the rim, the building nearly shook apart. Fans lost their minds, commentators screamed, and even Wilkins knew this was bigger than a scorecard. It wasn't just a dunk, it was the birth of a global icon, the image that defined a generation. Jordan didn't jump from the free throw line, he jumped into legend. 4. Shaquille O'Neal breaks the backboard versus Nets, 1993. When Shaquille O'Neal entered the NBA, everyone knew he was powerful, but no one expected this. In a 1993 game against the New Jersey Nets, young Shaq delivered a dunk so violent, so explosive, that it literally destroyed the entire rim structure right in front of thousands of stunned fans. The play began like any normal possession. Shaq caught the ball deep in the paint, took one strong power dribble, shrugged off a defender like he weighed nothing, and then launched upward with that unstoppable force only prime Shaq possessed. He rose above the defense and hammered the ball through the rim. But the real moment came after the dunk. The entire backboard collapsed. Not cracked, not bent, collapsed. The rim snapped downward, the support arm folded like paper, and the whole structure came crashing toward the floor as players scattered in shock. The arena gasped. Cameramen ducked. The announcers couldn't believe what they were seeing. Even Shaq stepped back with a "did I really do that?" look on his face. It wasn't just a dunk, it was a message to the league. This guy is too powerful for normal equipment. Over the next 2 years, teams literally had to reinforce NBA backboards because of Shaq. That's how legendary this moment was. A dunk so strong, it changed the NBA. 5. LeBron James dunks on Jason Terry. 2013, LeBron James has produced countless posters, but his dunk on Jason Terry in 2013 stands in a category of its own. A dunk so explosive it felt personal, cinematic, and almost unfair. It happened in a regular season game, but nothing about this moment felt regular. The Heat were on a fast break, the ball zipping around with perfect timing. As the play unfolded, Jason Terry, generously listed at 6 feet 2 inches, found himself in the worst possible position, standing between LeBron and the rim. Bad choice. Norris Cole lobbed the ball high toward the basket, and LeBron exploded off the ground like he had rockets in his legs. Terry, trying to make a play, rose too. But it didn't matter. LeBron climbed above him, caught the ball at full extension, and threw down a monster alley-oop dunk directly over Terry's head. The crowd erupted. The bench lost control. Fans in the arena stood up with their hands on their heads, unable to believe what they just witnessed. Terry, he fell to the floor like he'd been hit by a truck, staring into the lights. This wasn't just a poster dunk. It was a moment where raw power, timing, and humiliation collided perfectly. Even Jason Terry later admitted it followed him for years. LeBron didn't dunk over Jason Terry, he erased him. 6. Dwyane Wade dunks on Anderson Varejao. 2009. Some dunks humiliate defenders, but Dwyane Wade's poster on Anderson Varejao in 2009, that dunk rearranged a man's career timeline. It happened during a Heat versus Cavaliers matchup, LeBron on one side, Wade on the other, two superstars trading heavyweight blows. But then came the play that froze the entire arena. Wade poked the ball loose, sprinted coast to coast, and suddenly it was just him and Varejao and destiny. Wade gathered speed, like a freight train. Varejao stepped in, trying to draw a charge, a brave decision, but one he would immediately regret. Wade launched off 1 foot with vicious intent, soaring above the defender like he wasn't even there. And then, it happened. A thunderous one-handed slam directly on Varejao's face. The force sent Varejao flying backward, collapsing onto the baseline, legs in the air like he'd been hit by a meteor. The crowd exploded. LeBron couldn't believe his eyes. The announcers lost control, screaming that Wade baptized him. Wade walked away calmly, almost coldly, like delivering holy punishment was just another day at the office. This wasn't just a dunk, it was a statement of dominance, a career-defining poster, and one of the most disrespectful moments in NBA history. Wade didn't just dunk on Varejao, he buried him. 7. Blake Griffin dunks on Kendrick Perkins. 2012. Blake Griffin didn't just dunk on Kendrick Perkins. In 2012, he detonated a basketball-sized nuclear bomb on national television. This wasn't a fast break. It wasn't a fancy setup. It was pure, raw violence, delivered straight to the rim and straight onto Perkins' soul. The play began with Chris Paul slipping a pass to Griffin just inside the paint. Perkins rotated over, ready to meet him at the rim. For a split second, it almost looked like good defense. Almost, because the moment Griffin gathered 2 feet and took off, you could see the entire building tense up. Everyone knew something ridiculous was about to happen. Griffin rose higher, and higher, and higher. By the time he reached peak elevation, his head was practically at rim level. Perkins, already defeated mid-jump, could only brace for impact. Then Griffin threw the ball down with such force that it looked like he was trying to rip the hoop out of the ceiling. The crowd lost its mind. The bench spilled onto the court. Commentators started yelling things that barely sounded like words. Social media exploded instantly. Even NBA players were tweeting in real time that Perkins needs a hug. This dunk didn't just make highlights, it made history. Blake Griffin's dunk wasn't a poster, it was a public execution. 8. Blake Griffin, Mozgov dunk, 2010. Before Blake Griffin destroyed Kendrick Perkins, he delivered the dunk that announced his arrival to the world, the famous Mozgov dunk. This was the moment Blake officially became the most dangerous and air weapon in the NBA. It happened in 2010, early in Griffin's rookie season, when the Clippers were still league underdogs and Lob City wasn't fully born yet. Eric Bledsoe drove into the lane and spotted Griffin cutting behind the defense. He floated a high, quick pass toward the rim, a pass meant for a normal catch and finish. But Blake had something else in mind. He exploded upward with insane force, almost levitating. Standing between him and the rim was 7-foot center Timofey Mozgov, who rotated over just in time to make the worst business decision of his career. Blake caught the ball way above Mozgov's head, pulled it downward, and hammered it through the rim with one of the most violent motions the league had ever seen. Mozgov didn't just get dunked on, he got absorbed into the highlight. The crowd went feral, commentators screamed, teammates leaped out of their seats. Even Blake looked shocked for a second, then gave that slight nod like, yeah, That just happened. This dunk didn't just make Mozgov a meme. It launched Blake Griffin into superstardom, an absolute explosion, a career-making poster, a top-tier NBA dunk forever. 9. Kobe Bryant reverse baseline dunk versus Timberwolves. 2003, Kobe Bryant's reverse baseline dunk against the Minnesota Timberwolves in 2003 is a masterclass in style, control, and pure basketball artistry. Unlike the brute force dunks that often make highlight reels, Kobe's dunk combined precision, flair, and that signature Mamba confidence that left defenders and fans completely helpless. The play started with a crisp pass from Shaquille O'Neal. Kobe caught it near the baseline, immediately sizing up his defender. Instead of taking the obvious path to the rim, he chose the narrow strip along the baseline, a move requiring insane body control. As he approached the hoop, Kobe twisted mid-air, turning his back to the basket while his defender tried to react. With one smooth motion, he extended the ball backward over his shoulder and flushed it in reverse, barely clearing the outstretched hands of the Timberwolves' defender. The crowd erupted. Teammates sprinted back, some high-fiving in disbelief, while the commentators lost their composure, yelling at the elegance and audacity of the play. Fans watching at home replayed the moment dozens of times the way Kobe seemed to float, defy physics, and maintain complete control of his body. This dunk wasn't about power, it was about artistry, confidence, and the Mamba mentality on full display. Kobe didn't just dunk, he painted a masterpiece above the rim. 10. Scottie Pippen destroys Patrick Ewing. 1994. Scottie Pippen's dunk over Patrick Ewing in 1994 isn't just a highlight, it's one of the most humiliating and unforgettable moments in NBA history. In a playoff matchup between the Chicago Bulls and New York Knicks, Pippen, already known for his athleticism and defensive prowess, unleashed a dunk that would become a lasting image of dominance and disrespect. The play began with a quick transition off a Bulls rebound. Pippen took off from just inside the three-point line, accelerating with that smooth, almost casual stride that made him look untouchable. Ewing, standing 7 feet tall and ready to protect the rim, had no idea what was coming. Pippen soared toward the basket, seemingly defying gravity. He elevated cleanly over Ewing, one of the league's premier centers, and slammed the ball home with ferocious authority. But the most memorable moment wasn't the dunk itself, it was the follow-through. After the dunk, Pippen casually stepped over Ewing, asserting dominance in the boldest, most theatrical way possible. The crowd erupted in awe, disbelief, and pure excitement. This wasn't just a poster dunk, it was a statement. It showed that Pippen could dominate the game not just with skill, but with swagger and psychological warfare. Scottie didn't just dunk, he humiliated a Hall of Famer in the blink of an eye. 11. Baron Davis over Andrei Kirilenko, 2007 playoffs. Baron Davis's dunk over Andrei Kirilenko in the 2007 playoffs wasn't just a highlight, it was a moment that symbolized the entire We Believe Golden State Warriors era, fearless, chaotic, and unforgettable. Facing the top-seeded Dallas Mavericks, the Warriors were massive underdogs, but Baron Davis refused to play small. The play started with Davis driving at full speed from the wing. Kirilenko, a versatile and athletic defender, tried to meet him at the rim, thinking his length could stop Davis. But Davis had other plans. With a combination of speed, agility, and sheer audacity, he elevated higher than anyone expected, seemingly levitating over Kirilenko mid-air. The ball floated above the rim for just a split second before Davis hammered it home, slamming it with a ferocity that left both teams and the crowd in stunned silence. The arena erupted into pandemonium. Warriors fans went wild, sensing that this moment was more than a dunk, it was a statement. On the floor, players and coaches were frozen, realizing they had just witnessed one of the most disrespectful playoff dunks ever. Sports networks replayed it endlessly, cementing Davis's legacy as the player who could do the impossible in the spotlight. Baron Davis didn't just dunk over Kirilenko, he made the world stand up and take notice. 12. Ja Morant dunks over Kevin Love, 2022. Ja Morant's dunk over Kevin Love in 2022 instantly became one of the most talked about highlights of the NBA season, and for good reason. This wasn't just a dunk, it was a statement from a young superstar announcing that he was capable of rewriting highlight reels and redefining what was possible in the modern game. During a game between the Memphis Grizzlies and the Cleveland Cavaliers, Morant received a pass near the perimeter and exploded into the lane. Kevin Love, one of the league's most experienced defenders, stepped up to contest. What happened next stunned everyone. Morant elevated impossibly high, soaring over Love with a grace and hang time that seemed to defy physics. The ball was securely in his hands as he arched toward the rim and slammed it down with ferocious authority, leaving Love helpless beneath him. The crowd erupted instantly. Teammates sprinted onto the court, fans jumped out of their seats, and even commentators could barely contain their excitement. Social media immediately exploded, with clips going viral worldwide. Morant's dunk wasn't just about power. It was about timing, athleticism, and pure audacity, the kind of moment that makes defenders question their life choices. Ja Morant didn't just dunk over Kevin Love. He delivered a poster that will be remembered for generations. 13. Aaron Gordon, under the legs, dunk 2016 dunk contest. Aaron Gordon's under the legs dunk in the 2016 slam dunk contest is widely regarded as one of the most creative and jaw-dropping dunks in NBA history. Competing against Zach LaVine in what many call the greatest dunk contest of all time, Gordon needed a moment that would leave the crowd and judges speechless, and he delivered flawlessly. The play began as Gordon approached the rim with controlled speed. As he rose, he swung the ball between his legs mid-air, a maneuver so precise that it seemed almost impossible to coordinate while jumping toward the basket. The motion was fluid, almost like a magician performing a trick in slow motion. Then, without breaking his flight, he finished with a clean two-handed dunk that left everyone in awe. The judges were on their feet, the crowd erupted, and social media instantly exploded with clips and reactions. Even though he narrowly lost to LaVine, this dunk instantly cemented Gordon as one of the most inventive and athletic dunkers ever. Aaron Gordon didn't just dunk, he rewrote the rules of creativity in the air. 14. Zach LaVine, free throw line, between the legs, dunk. 2015 dunk contest, Zach LaVine's free throw line, between the legs, dunk in the 2015 slam dunk contest instantly became legendary. LaVine, facing stiff competition, needed a dunk that combined sheer athleticism with jaw-dropping creativity, and he delivered one of the most insane dunks ever attempted in contest history. He started at the free throw line, sprinting forward with perfect rhythm. As he approached the rim, LaVine leapt into the air with seemingly endless hang time. Mid-flight, he swung the ball between his legs, a move that requires not just strength and coordination, but impeccable timing before extending fully toward the basket and throwing down a thunderous dunk. The elegance, speed, and precision of the dunk made it look almost effortless, as if gravity had paused for a moment just to watch him. The crowd went wild, jumping to their feet in disbelief, and the judges rewarded him with near-perfect scores. Even though the competition was fierce, LaVine's creativity and execution instantly earned him a permanent spot in dunking history. Zach LaVine didn't just dunk, he defied physics and inspired a generation. 15. Jason Richardson reverse, between the legs dunk. 2004 dunk contest. Jason Richardson's reverse, between the legs dunk in the 2004 dunk contest is remembered as one of the most technically difficult and visually stunning dunks in NBA history. Known for his creativity and fearless style, Richardson approached the contest determined to wow the judges with something no one had ever seen before. The dunk began with Richardson taking off from just inside the paint. Mid-air, he swung the ball between his legs while twisting his body in reverse, a move that requires extraordinary coordination, timing, and confidence. As he completed the rotation, he extended fully toward the rim and slammed the ball down with authority, finishing the dunk with a perfect landing. The fluidity of the motion made it look almost effortless, even though the difficulty level was off the charts. The crowd erupted in amazement, and the judges were left with no choice but to give him near-perfect scores. Social media and NBA fans replayed the moment endlessly, cementing Richardson's dunk as one of the most iconic in contest history. Jason Richardson didn't just dunk, he pushed the boundaries of what was possible in the air. 16. Shawn Kemp's dunk over Alton Lister. 1992. Shawn Kemp's dunk over Alton Lister in 1992 remains one of the most ferocious and iconic posters of the early 90s. Known as the Rain Man, Kemp had a rare combination of power, speed, and hang time, and this dunk perfectly showcased all of it. During a fast break play, Kemp received the ball near the paint. Lister, a 7-foot veteran defender, positioned himself to stop the explosive forward, but Kemp didn't hesitate. He launched himself toward the rim with unbelievable force, soaring high above Lister. Mid-air, he seemed to hang for a brief second, giving the impression that time had slowed. With one thunderous motion, Kemp slammed the ball through the hoop, sending Lister tumbling backward from the sheer force of the dunk. The crowd erupted, and commentators could barely contain their excitement, repeatedly calling it one of the most vicious dunks ever seen. This wasn't just about athleticism, it was about domination and intimidation, a statement that Kemp was a force nobody could stop. Shawn Kemp didn't just dunk, he annihilated his defender with pure power. 17. Julius Erving baseline scoop dunk, 1980s. Julius Erving, Dr. J, changed the way basketball was played, and his baseline scoop dunk in the 1980s is a perfect example of his artistry. Unlike a standard dunk, Dr. J's move combined creativity, finesse, and smooth athleticism in a way that mesmerized fans and defenders alike. The play often started with a fast break or a cut along the baseline. Dr. J would catch the ball while moving at full speed, then use the baseline as a runway to gain momentum. With defenders attempting to block him, he would twist his body along the baseline and scoop the ball gracefully over his shoulder into the hoop. The motion was almost balletic, a perfect blend of control, timing, and style. Fans erupted with every successful execution, and teammates and opponents alike stopped to admire the technique. This dunk didn't rely on brute force, but on creativity, vision, and pure skill, forever influencing future generations of dunkers. Julius Erving didn't just dunk, he invented elegance above the rim. 18. DeMar DeRozan windmill dunk, 2016. DeMar DeRozan's windmill dunk in 2016 perfectly showcased his combination of raw athleticism and smooth, in-game creativity. Unlike dunk contest highlights, this dunk happened in a live NBA game, making it even more impressive because of the defensive pressure and the stakes involved. The play began with DeRozan receiving the ball near the wing. With defenders closing in, he accelerated toward the paint with fluid speed. Instead of going for a basic dunk, DeRozan elevated, rotating his arm in a full windmill motion mid-air. His control and hang time allowed him to maintain perfect body alignment as he powered the ball through the rim. The defender could only watch helplessly, completely unable to contest the move. The crowd erupted instantly, recognizing the rare combination of power, artistry, and in-game execution. Teammates celebrated, while social media replayed the dunk thousands of times within minutes. Unlike contest dunks, this was a moment that directly impacted the game, showing DeRozan's ability to turn athleticism into an unstoppable offensive weapon. DeMar DeRozan didn't just dunk, he turned a routine play into a breathtaking spectacle. 19. Dominique Wilkins, two-hand power dunk, 1988. Dominique Wilkins, known as the human highlight film, was the epitome of power and grace, and his two-hand dunk in 1988 perfectly demonstrated why. While many players relied on finesse or flash, Wilkins combined brute strength, explosiveness, and precision to dominate above the rim. The play often began with a fast break or a pass in the post. Wilkins would catch the ball, take one explosive step, and rise with incredible vertical leap. Stretching his body fully, he would drive the ball through the hoop with both hands, slamming it with unmatched force. The motion sent a clear message to defenders: "This is my territory." Opponents could only flail helplessly as Wilkins executed a perfect mix of power and hang time. The crowd reacted instantly, erupting in awe and admiration. Commentators repeatedly emphasized his nickname, the human highlight film, as Wilkins reminded everyone why he was one of the most feared dunkers of his era. Dominique Wilkins didn't just dunk, he dominated the rim with sheer power and style. 20. Giannis Antetokounmpo dunk over Tim Hardaway Jr. 2021, 170 words. Giannis Antetokounmpo's dunk over Tim Hardaway Jr. in 2021 is one of those moments that instantly became an NBA highlight staple. Known as the Greek Freak, Giannis combines freakish athleticism, length, and speed, and this dunk perfectly showcased why defenders often feel helpless against him. The play started with a quick pass near the top of the key. Giannis exploded toward the rim, seemingly gaining momentum with every step. Hardaway Jr., trying to block the path, positioned himself in the most desperate attempt to contest. But Giannis didn't just jump, he soared over Hardaway Jr. with effortless hang time, ball firmly in hand, and slammed it through the hoop with overwhelming force. The crowd erupted in amazement, some fans spilling from their seats, while commentators could barely contain their excitement at the display of athletic supremacy. This wasn't just a dunk, it was a combination of skill, timing, and raw power, a poster worthy of instant replay across the league. Giannis's ability to dominate defenders mid-air makes him one of the most feared dunkers in modern NBA history. Giannis didn't just dunk over Hardaway, he reminded everyone why he's called the Greek Freak.